perspective. And I remember the time it was one of the biggest, change management initiatives that was ever undertaken. Great, thank you so much for that. Sagar.
I have an example from my current job. In CA Technologies, about 2.5 years back, we felt a need of going through a cultural transformation. We felt that we are a company which has grown with 350 acquisitions over the last 30 years. And we let
350 acquisitions?
Yes, over the last 30 years.
30 years, wow.
And we let those 350 companies work like 350 companies. We just merged their revenue streams to become a $5 billion company. So we realized that for us to be successful in future, we have to act like one company. So we undertook a cultural transformation journey. The masterstroke that our CEO did was, he said that I will not hire a consultant. They'll not sit in an ivory tower and tell what the mission of the company is and what our core values are. He said, my employees will tell me what the mission of the company is and what our core values are. Sure. So we involved 4,500 employees across 52 locations through 100 focus groups. And we asked them, what is it that you would like to read about CA Technologies in newspapers 3 years from now? What is it that you would like to see on banners about CA Technologies 3 years from now? What is it that will infuse pride in you to hear about CA Technologies? What is it that will go and tell families and friends about CA Technologies 3 years from now? So across these focus group discussions, these thoughts came out. We then said that for this to happen, what is the behavior that an employee has to demonstrate? For that behavior to be demonstrated, what is the mindset that needs to change among the employees? And with these thoughts brought together, we came up with 4 core values. And combining those 4 core values, we came up with a mission statement for the company. So what we did here, see, any change is about people. And in that change, people could actually decide the change that they want to undergo, or they can inherit the change that they want to undergo. Change is about resistance. So when they inherit the decision, they resist it. But when they decide the change, they go with it, they accept it. So through this exercise, we made them decide the change, so they accepted the change.
Sure, great. I think Sagar was giving a lot of credit to CEO, but I think being the head of HR, he also should be given a lot of credit.
That's my job to
Okay, so he's just being a bit modest, okay? Shweta.
Okay. So for the longest period of my career, I'd actually been a part of the change. Really never got an opportunity to lead change. And then came an assignment where I did not even realize that I will be leading change in some form or the other. And this was one of my previous organizations where I inherited a team of 30 people who had already undergone many management changes. So probably every 6 months, 8 months, they would have a new manager or a new leader coming in.
This is for the whole organization or for that group?
For my group particularly, okay. For talent acquisition team per se.
Okay.
And nobody was ready for change. They didn't want another one. So under that overarching theme of transformation or change, I really had to identify what are those 5 different verticals which will have an impact of this change, and your approach and theme for each one of them would be different. Because any change that I would bring into that particular area will have an impact on the customer, stakeholders, management, and my own team members. So you really need to identify. So how we went about it was going with what Rajni mentioned, communication really helped. Transparent communication, talk as much as possible with your team, and you can't really use the same pattern for everybody. So there were different levels within the team. You had to really approach each one of them differently. Had 1 or 2 of them really be a part of you so that they can talk to you, your brand ambassadors, the organization brand ambassadors who would really help you drive that change within the team and within the overall way of working and delivering to the organization. Now, talent acquisition has a lot of internal customers. So for us, the touch point is very heavy inside the organization. And that's where the impact becomes much higher of how driven your team is in terms of their delivery, which is where the whole change was diverted to. So once when you make them realize of the potential that your team has, making them empowered, making them more delivery focused, telling them and setting them what exactly do they need to do, and they coming up with the ideas of how do they want to drive it, and just be part of it and partner along with them. So one of my own learnings here was, how have I been taken through the changes in my previous change management exercises of the organization, and probably just picking them up and driving through them. So whenever there's a transformation or change that's getting driven in the organization, it's usually management and the employees, so it becomes us versus they. And that's one thing which one needs to really break, because it's at both
Very
ends.
true. Sure.
That's it.
Creating a combined sense of ownership.
Absolutely.
Great point. Yeah, Isaac, any thoughts?
Yeah, sure. I was just, when I heard the M&A story of ANZ, I was thinking about, I wanted to give another example now that you gave ANZ, and I thought I will share this one because it is relevant in this context. I was told to take up this role in Switzerland as the regional HR, and we were taking over a Swiss company. That's not very usual for an Indian company to take over a Swiss company. This was a fairly established IT company in Switzerland and France. So TCS has this history of creating its own software and ERPs and being a strong IT company in itself. So when I went there, I've done a similar exercise for an Indian company, so I said, okay, I just need to replicate this. This was what, 150 employees? And that scale in India is not very significant. So I go there, I think 150, no big deal.
150 is a small project team,
It's
right?
a
In
small
some of the
project
larger
team,
teams.
But you go there in Switzerland, in Zurich, and what you experience is absolutely different from an M&A experience that you will have here. An Indian company taking over a Swiss company, the cultural aspect, like what you mentioned, was very, very key. The whole point about predictability was seen very differently in Switzerland and how we would see it here in India. For us, IST is Indian, stretchable, time. Whereas in Zurich, it was Swiss, standard time. You see the difference? The trains there run with an accuracy of 99.9, 99.8%. The trains there run with that kind of precision. There's 11:23 bus, I stand in the bus stop, at 11:22 I can't see the bus, at 23 comes from nowhere. And I take a system with an accuracy of 80%, 85%, a Lotus Notes version which we implemented, where 90% of the mails reached. Do you think they're going to take it? The key aspect for us was, actually we waited. We waited to listen to that culture. So we kind of postponed the whole aspect. We said, first, as an organization like TCS, though we were huge, we were already a 100,000 employee strong organization. There were 150 employees between Switzerland and France. But it is important to listen to the employees in terms of the cultural differences that we are experiencing. As managers of future, it is important. A lot of us as managers will go and take over new teams. And without realizing the culture that exists in new teams, we would want to introduce change. I feel it is very key to listen for some time. Like what Shakir said, it's very important to make them feel that they're part of the entire decision-making process, the entire change process. And the difference that when we waited and we made them realize that the technology expertise that we carry, the global reach that they can have using the technologies that we have, it took some time for us to get into that culture, understand that culture. And then slowly when we introduced change, we were successful.
Sure.
So I feel the culture aspect becomes very key. And that applies to any manager who gets into a new team. That how ready are you to that new culture of the team? When you become future managers, how ready are you to understand the culture that exists in those teams? I think it becomes the first step to introduce a change.
Great. I mean, absolutely. The TCS Geneva acquisition is probably a great example how you really, integrate people and change after understanding culture, local culture. So, members in the audience, are you getting an idea of what types of change that you're going to be experiencing when you're getting into industry? Yes, sir. Great. Okay. So let's go on to Sushma and Chintu to give the examples from their organizations where they worked.
Yeah, when we want to put any change management in place, it's often needed to have processes also to back the change management. Some time ago, we used to have our appraisal systems in hard copy. But with the technology changing and changing very rapidly, today everything is systemic. So when we changed from hard copy to system-driven appraisals, we had to communicate and reiterate the communication, make people comfortable doing appraisals in the system, have road shows so that they're comfortable with technology, and move along with the times and have the processes support the change. So processes is also a very important dimension of the change
Great.
processes.
Sure. Thank you.
Fortunately, I got an opportunity twice to see the change management. One was developmental and second was an integrational. Developmental in the sense, in my previous organization, we were approximately 400 employees, and after 3 months, we were supposed to be 1,400 employees. So a lot of new minds coming in. So challenge was to preserve the core. At the same time, as mentioned by the panelists, this was done with clear communication.
Okay.
Second, which I saw was integrational change. As you all might be aware about Sony Mobile, it got integrated now. It's Sony Mobile Corporation. Now it's Sony, not Ericsson. So in this, the change was with patience and process. Because without patience and if we haste, communication may go wrong. So clear communication with patience. At the same time, we used to communicate to the employees what is in it for them. As a student also, when I was experiencing change from B school to corporates, at that time also I need some patience. I was so innovative, my boss told, just shut up. So it requires patience
Right.
to execute anything. So is the change.
Great. That's really wonderful. Understanding the what's in it for me factor, right? It's so important to managing change. Great. So I think we have a good idea as to what type of examples, what type of experiences we have been through in our organizations. Now, we all know that change is sometimes a fairly painful process, right? Yes, sometimes, or all the time? All the time. Okay. So they say the only person in the world who likes change, okay? This is a person, all of us don't like change, right? All of you agree? The only person who likes change is a wet baby. The wet baby wants to have a nice dry diaper, right? And therefore wants to change. So men, women are, and especially probably as you become adults, we really have a conditioning in terms of wanting to maintain that status quo. So let's try to understand from our panelists. They have been very, very successful in bringing about change, ushering change into their, right from the boardrooms to their offices, managing it, and being a part of the leadership team that really drove that change. Let's try to understand from them what actually are the key success factors, right? What you should be doing. I mean, I think they were already, from their examples, a lot of things were coming up. A key among them is communication, right? So let's talk to the panelists trying to understand the two most important. I know there are a lot of success factors, right? So let's try to understand from them through their experiences, what are the two most important success factors which have helped them? Okay? Great. You want to do the same order or?
No, I think we should change the order.
Okay.
Change is the order of the day.
Absolutely. There you go.
Already happening.
This was quite a frequent change. Two key success factors or two key factors that led to the success of change in both the cases which I have seen. One was the timing, means the right time, right communication. And discipline, means whatever we are doing with some purpose. and discipline in terms of process follow-up, in terms of adopting any new person in the organization, discipline in terms of preserving ourselves and not getting disturbed from the change.
So, Chintu, can you give us an example of when you say discipline? I guess it's in discipline executing a lot of things, right? So, probably from your earlier experience, can you give us an example of that?
As I mentioned, two things. One is time and second is discipline. So that was linked to that. Means in my previous organization when we were becoming threefold, at that time deployment and induction of the new recruit becomes more critical because he is coming from a new set into a pool where we already have some preconceptions at a leadership level.
Okay.
So making him adopt to those conceptions or giving him time frame to adopt.
Sure. Great. So we get that point in terms of discipline. Okay, great.
Yeah, as humans, we are, as just mentioned, a little uncomfortable with change. And so when we want to bring about some change management, there is sometimes a little bit of apprehension or reservation, or people are a little reticent about change. So one of the things that would be really crucial and important for the success would be to show where the change is going to lead to. What is the vision? What is the big picture? Why do we need to have this change? And where are we regarding the big picture? So once that becomes clear and that gets communicated to people, people too want to move to a larger picture. People want to grow. I mean, that's what is very inherent in all of us and in organizations. So once the big picture is made clear, and as an organization, if one can be inclusive and be, get participation across levels towards the big picture, it helps in creating that momentum to reach there and to make change much smoother.
Okay, so Sushma, I had a leading question from that. Sometimes leaders themselves don't have much clarity in terms of the big picture. Right? Let's say you go in for a merger and acquisition, or you go in for a change in the process, and so on. The leaders themselves are not very clear what is the end state 6 months or 12 months down the line. So given that situation, would it be fair for us to sort of say that, look, we need to give clarity in terms of vision?
Right.
Any thoughts on that?
Yes, we may not be sure, but we need to have some direction and why we are doing it, right? And it would be a collaborative process of getting people across levels. It could be some levels, many levels, to think as to where you'd like to go.
Okay.
Because unless you have a direction, things may not change. So,
so let me ask another question here. If a leader is asked that, where exactly are we going to be 12 months from now as a part of this change? Where are we going to be 12 months from now? And the leader himself doesn't know exactly where they're going to be.
Yeah.
Is it okay to tell the organization, the employees, that, hey, you know what, we don't really know? Is that okay? Any thoughts on that? And this is a question not only to you, Sushma, but to the whole group.
Sure. So, and as we said, open and honest communication is the key to the success. So, if I as a leader don't know where we would be 12 months from now, I would say I don't know where we'll be 12 months from now, but I would have an answer for you by this time.
Okay. Great.
And then I work towards getting that answer for my people, and I show them all tangible efforts that I'm making in getting that answer.
Okay, great. Any thoughts? Do you agree or do you disagree?
I'll just add to that, Sakar. I think it's a fine balance. Absolutely honest communication is essential. So being honest is key. But that said, people are looking, and as human beings, all of us are looking to some kind of direction, either that comes from within or that comes from outside. So we cannot be seen as directionless. So clearly communicate that if we do not know that this is the direction, and we would like to take your thoughts in terms of how can we articulate the next steps to to reach where we want to reach. So I would still say, be honest, but keep it directional largely. That's my take on that.
Okay, great. So essentially what you're saying is that be honest, be clear. If you're not very sure where you're going or going to be reaching, be upfront about it.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's what essence of what both of you are saying. Okay. Yeah, Isaac, you wanted to add?
Yeah, I think more or less what I was thinking. I think when you look at change for future, it is very difficult to have a precise view, even at a leadership level. So I think, but like what she said, it is important, but to show that you are setting towards a direction. It can't be absolutely directionless. I think change is driven by leadership. Part of change is vision. So there has to be some picture of how I in fact, as part of the aspect of, what are the things that you need to bring in change, the question that we're following now as a group. I wanted to give this example in TCS. We 2 years back launched a campaign called Vivacious TCS. And if you've noticed, the color of TCS is blue. Not that I'm wearing a blue shirt for that. This is not a TCS shirt. But men have this blue syndrome of shirts.
The tie is blue.
The tie is blue, but still mine, okay? I choose, it's my choice. But incidentally, TCS is blue, okay? But Vivacious has orange, yellow, pink. If I show some of my recent slides of TCS and some of the analyst presentations of TCS that are out in the net, you can see that 2 years back, we have changed the campaign. The whole branding has changed. The whole campaign is called Vivacious TCS, And what is Vivacious TCS? It's about what we heard in the earlier sessions about creating something which is a future organization, a future workplace, which is more suitable for generations like you. 70% of TCS is Gen Y or Gen Z. So if we have an organization which is ready for 30%, we're losing already. So it was important to create this Vivacious TCS. And do we have a very clear picture of Vivacious TCS? The answer is no. But we know where we're going. The direction is clear. And how do we bring this change? One way that we're doing, and I'm sure as future managers you can use this method, is to create change evangelists within your teams. Who are these change evangelists? They have long hair. They wear, more or less true, I have one of the change evangelists who has a long hair, but a man, okay? Yeah. But then the idea is, we have a huge social networking platform in TCS, which we introduced 3 years back. It's called Know Me, where you can blog. It's like a Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn's put together, which we use within TCS. We have enough people to interact. We have 2.5, so people are kept busy. Yeah. So you can post videos, you can post whatever. Now, for a generation which is, which comes with 20 years, I've been in this company for 14 years, it was a change.
Right.
Do I blog?
Now, having said that, Isaac, I just had a question. Do we know where we are going? Probably not, right? But is it important to give people direction? The answer is yes. So how do you really manage that fine balance? I'm actually coming from Hyderabad, right? If I take my flight to Hyderabad and the pilot announces saying that, we are going somewhere around Hyderabad, is that good enough for me? No, right? So as leaders, and when you're in the cockpit of leadership, you really need to give them a clear idea as to where you're going. But I think the point that all the panelists seem to be agreeing is that need to give a clear perspective, but if you're not very sure, just be honest about it.
That's true.
Right? Any other